You've been led to believe that a sociopath is someone easy to spot, a frantic visible villain, or a cold-blooded monster lurking in a dark alley. In the professional world, you think the danger comes from the mean boss who yells or the lazy coworker who steals your lunch. But the truth is much more unsettling. The corporate sociopath doesn't look like a threat. They look like your biggest fan. They are the most charming person in the room, the one who remembers your birthday, laughs at all your jokes, and seems to be the only person who truly gets the vision of the company. We are conditioned to trust charisma and to mistake high energy for high character. But as you sit at your desk, feeling a strange, hollow sensation in your gut after a supportive chat with that rising star in marketing, you need to realize that you aren't being greeted, you're being appraised. The corporate sociopath isn't interested in friendship, and they certainly aren't interested in the company's success. They are interested in extraction. They see you as a battery, a source of information, labor, or social capital to be used until you are drained and then discarded. The tension you feel isn't just work stress. It's the biological response to a predator who has successfully bypassed your social filters. You think it works like this. You befriend the influencers, and they help you climb, but it doesn't. Here's what actually happens. The sociopath builds a mirror of everything you want to see. And while you're busy admiring the reflection, they are quietly cutting the cables of your career. Think about the relatable daily friction of your office life. You have a new teammate who has quickly become the favorite of the executive director. They are helpful to a fault, always offering to take a look at your drafts or hop on a call to assist with a difficult client. But slowly, you notice a pattern. When the project succeeds, they are the ones who happen to be in the hallway when the boss walks by, ready to deliver the good news with a "we really pulled it off" that subtly places them at the center of the victory. When things go wrong, they are nowhere to be found, or worse, they are in the boss's office expressing deep concern about your recent performance struggles. You feel a crushing sense of frustration and confusion because, on paper, they haven't done anything wrong. They've been supportive, but the unfairness of the situation is starting to rot your morale. You see them ascending the hierarchy with almost supernatural speed, leaving a trail of burnout and personal leaves in their wake among the people who used to work closely with them. You feel misunderstood by your leadership because they only see the charm, while you are the only one feeling the teeth. This is where most people get stuck. They think that by being more honest or working harder, the truth will eventually come out. It won't. The sociopath is a master of narrative management. And while you are playing the game of results, they are playing the game of perception. The hidden truth behind the corporate sociopath is that they are functionally masking a complete lack of empathy with a highly developed cognitive empathy. They don't feel what you feel, but they understand the mechanics of your feelings better than you do. They know exactly which buttons to push to make you feel inspired, guilty, or defensive. This is the part nobody tells you. The sociopath doesn't want to destroy the company. They want to hollow it out. They are looking for host organisms, high performers with low self-esteem or a high need for approval. If you are the person who stays late to fix everyone's mistakes, you are their primary target. They will praise your dedication while dumping their most toxic tasks onto your desk. They are breaking your false assumption that the best man wins. In reality, the person who wins is the one who can most effectively outsource their failures and internalize others' successes. You've been operating under the belief that people are basically good, but in a high-stakes corporate environment, goodness is a liability that the sociopath trades for leverage. They aren't trying to be your friend. They are trying to become your necessity. Deep office politics is the study of social engineering. The corporate sociopath operates on a three-stage cycle: idealization, devaluation, and discard. In the idealization phase, they love bomb you. They tell you that you're the smartest person in the department, actually that we are going to run this place one day, and they share vulnerable secrets to hook your loyalty. This isn't about connection, it's about mapping. They are learning your triggers, your ambitions, and your secrets so they can use them as ammunition later. Human behavior dictates that we feel obligated to return a favor or a secret. Once you've shared your honest opinion about the CEO with them, they own you. Decisions in the boardroom are made based on trusted intelligence, and the sociopath is the one who provides the intelligence that makes everyone else look like a risk. They use triangulation, telling person A that person B said something negative, then doing the same in reverse, to ensure that no one ever communicates well enough to figure out who the real source of the drama is. They are the firefighters who started the fire, and this is where the reality shift must happen. You need to realize that your current approach of leading with empathy is the exact reason you are being consumed. You are trying to use human rules in a systemic war. You have to reframe your understanding of the office charmer. High-level charisma without visible vulnerability or shared credit is a red flag, not a leadership trait. Your approach is failing because you are treating the sociopath like a misunderstood peer who just needs a bit of guidance or a real talk session, but you think it works like this, and it doesn't. You cannot fix someone who doesn't see people as people. This is the turning point where you stop trying to save the relationship and start hardening the target. You need to move from being a source to being a void. You have to make yourself psychologically expensive to target. Subtle solutions to spotting and stopping a corporate sociopath start with testing for reciprocity. This is the first and most effective trap detector. Ask them for a favor that provides zero benefit to them and requires actual effort. A sociopath will almost always gently deflect or promise and fail. They don't do things that don't increase their net power. You have to manage your visibility by ensuring that your work is documented in immutable form. Emails with CCs, shared project logs, and public updates. Never let them summarize your work for the boss. Next, you must become the primary source of your own narrative. Perception is everything. If you are seen as clinically professional rather than emotionally available, the sociopath will find you unpalatable. They thrive on emotional reactions. If you give them a gray rock, a bland, boring, and strictly professional response to every bait, they will move on to a softer target. Communication during the devaluation phase, when they start subtly undermining you, must be surgically precise. When they make a concerned comment about your work in a meeting, you don't get defensive. You ask for specifics. You say, "I appreciate the concern. Can you point to the specific data point in the Q3 report that you feel is a risk?" A sociopath hates specifics because specifics can be verified. They prefer vague impressions and atmospheric doubt. By forcing them into the light of fact, you are micro-rejecting their power over the narrative. Relationships in the office should be built on verified utility. You don't need friends in a department where a sociopath is active. You need witnesses. Build strong, boring, work-focused bonds with the quiet people in finance, HR, and operations. These are the people who see the inconsistencies in the sociopath's expense reports and project timelines. They are your strategic shield. The part nobody tells you is that the corporate sociopath is actually very fragile. Their entire power base is built on a house of cards of false perceptions. If you stop providing the emotional fuel and start providing structural resistance, they will often self-destruct. They will take bigger risks to regain control, and that is when they make the big mistake. Your strategy is to observe and document, not to attack. If you try to out-sociopath them, you will lose, because they have been practicing this since childhood, and you haven't. You win by being the only sane operator in the room. You keep a shadow file, a record of every inconsistency, every stolen credit, and every subtle threat. Not to use today, but to have as mutually assured destruction if they ever try to quiet fire you. This is the realistic strategy for an idealistic world. Strategy in the long term is about decoupling your career from their orbit. If you realize your boss is a sociopath, you stop looking for a promotion and start looking for an extraction. You use the idealization phase to get the training, yes, the certifications and the titles you need, and then you pivot before the discard phase begins. You are a sovereign agent who is arbitraging the chaos. You don't owe the company your dying loyalty when the company has allowed a predator to lead the pack. You think you're being disloyal by job hunting, but the sociopath has already replaced you in their mind. You are just finalizing the transaction. By the time they realize you've checked out, you should be sitting in a new office with a 20% raise and a clean culture. Here's what actually happens when you start hardening the target. The sociopath begins to gaslight you. They will tell you that you're not a team player or that you're becoming difficult. This is a sign that your defenses are working. They are trying to project their own behavior onto you to regain the moral high ground. This is where most people break and try to apologize to keep the peace. Don't. Your peace is found in your performance metrics and your external network. If the company is small and the sociopath is the CEO, the only win is to leave. If the company is large, your win is to transfer to a different ecosystem within the organization where their information monopoly doesn't reach. You are hedged against their influence. The truth is, The unspoken rule of the hierarchy is that charm often masks a lack of competence. The sociopath spends so much time on social engineering that they rarely have technical depth. This is your leeway. When the crisis hits, the real one, the one where the servers go down or the audit begins, the sociopath will be the first one to offload the blame. If you have deep technical utility, you are the only one who can actually fix the problem. You use that utility as your ransom. You don't fix the problem for the sociopath. You fix it for the higher authority, and you make sure the higher authority knows exactly who was in charge when the failure happened. You are turning competence into political weaponry. The ending of this narrative is about the cold awakening. Look at the person who is too good to be true in your office. Look at their eyes when they aren't talking. Look at the turnover rate of their former assistants. The signs are there, hiding in the white noise of corporate jargon and fake smiles. A betrayal is a mechanical event for a sociopath, and your shock is their reward. Once you see the game for what it is, you can no longer be played. You are the only person truly invested in your human resources. Your talent, your time, and your mental health are your resources, and you are the only one who can manage them. The corporate sociopath is just a market variable, a risk to be mitigated, not a monster to be feared. Reflect on this. The person who is trying to destroy your career is only able to do so because you gave them the map to your heart. Take the map back. Stop looking for meaning in your coworkers' approval and start looking for safety in your own sovereignty. If you accept that the corporate world can be immoral and unethical, thus the uncomfortable truth becomes a shield. You stop being a soft target and start being a hard operator. Awareness is the only safety you'll ever find. Now, go back to your desk, look at the charming peer across the aisle, and ask yourself, what do they want from me, and what is my price for giving it? You aren't a victim of a sociopath. You are a professional who has just been given a masterclass in human behavior. The end of your naivety is the beginning of your real power. Stay focused, stay professional, and stay strategically opaque. The world is a theater, and you just learned how to see through the masks. Reflect on the quiet power of the person who knows they are being hunted, but has already set the trap for the hunter. That is the real professional maturity. The end of the game is when you walk out on your own terms, with your reputation intact and your future secured. Now, get to work on your real narrative.